hey, we're friends, right? We're friends on Facebook, aren't we? We're good friends. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? The license.
Oh, that's right. So now all you California licensees must include your license number and all the material that has your name on it.
Including social media. You've got to now have your name and your license number. They are and have fined in Northern California certain agents for not having their number attached.
On Facebook,
On
like
Facebook.
they're just looking through Facebook, and these brokers are having these fines come into their mail, and
Let me make it perfectly clear. If you have to call me and ask me, Earl, is it okay for me to put just your name on the birthday cake? I'm going to say no. Put my real estate license under my name. Anything that is first contact with a client must have your number. Don't assume, well, maybe not this. No, anything that can be interpreted as first contact must have your license number. There's no exceptions now, and they're fining. And we
Yeah.
asked, someone asked in the room, Gov, seriously, are they doing this? And he said, oh no, we are already hiring or issuing fines in 2017.
no warning too. They're just
No warning. No warning. And they will send the fine directly to the company right away, and it has to be paid.
anything that has any implication that you're gonna sell real estate. Your license number better be right
That's
next
right.
to your name, and even the broker's name as well.
Yeah.
There's some agents or teams out there that like to brand themselves, so a lot of their marketing material has Team Knutson, just for example. Now you must have
You must have your
United.
company name,
Yeah.
period. If you're a team or an individual, if you have your name, you must have your company name. And you must have your license. And your license and the company name cannot be the smallest print on the sign. It must be equal to the next
Yes.
font size up
Yes.
on the sign. So it can't be so that it can't be seen. Otherwise, it's considered you're trying to avoid actual
Exactly.
disclosure.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. But yeah, if it's the smallest thing you have on that sign, it's got to be bigger than that.
It's got to be bigger than that. Yeah. No generic
EV
signs. A generic sign is a white and red sign that says open house this way.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, they're
you can't do
everywhere.
that now.
They're
No,
everywhere.
it always has to have your company name, possibly your name,
And
if it
your,
has
BR, and your BRE number.
and
now.
your BRE number.
That's new for open house signs.
So
because
they,
before you could just,
what they want is to be able to identify who is responsible for that sign. It can't be generic so that you say, well, that wasn't my sign. No, your signs have to be personalized. TDS and SBQ, still problems there. I know you guys know how to do this. Whenever they read something about what they have to put on there, just say, are you aware of?
Yeah.
Are you aware of? You don't have to, you're not promising to fix it. You're not promising to do anything. You just have to disclose any condition. And if the seller is aware of it and they didn't put it in there, it's a liability.
And the reason why it's so important, especially on the TDS and SPQ, is because those forms are not considered complete until every question has been filled out and it's been initialed, signed by not only the seller, but the listing agent as well. To go on top of that, the reason being is if you're 5 days out of closing escrow and the buyer finds out that one or two questions on the TDS are not filled out and they'll give it back to the seller to sign and fill out, you're giving the buyer another 3 days to cancel because you've given them disclosure towards the end. Not to say that this will happen to everybody, but I mean, you always want to make sure that everything that has to do with disclosure is as complete as possible, because then you're just going to create headaches for yourself. And if your seller doesn't know the answer to a question, don't leave it blank, which is what we see all the time. And we'll call the agents and ask them, why are these questions not filled out? And they'll simply reply, oh, because they don't know.
That's right.
But as Earl just mentioned, if you read the questions properly, it simply asks, are you
Right.
seller aware of anything? So if you don't know, then you're not aware.
That's
Just
right.
put no.
Remember, every transaction has to have the TDS and SBQ. If you're dealing with a trust sale or a corporation or something of the sort, you still are required to have the ESD. So when you have a single family house, remember, somewhere there is a form
You
for
have
disclosure
to disclose, yeah.
of condition,
That's so important.
whether they're living in the property or not. There was one litigation where Gov made reference that the judge asked the owner said, I never went in the home. And the judge asked, did your contractor go in the home? to give you the bid? And he said, well, of course. And he says, well, that's the same thing.
Let's be quite honest. Even if you're an investor, you buy a house, there's no way I'm going to believe that you did not step foot in that house at least once or twice to look around and tear that wall down. Whatever you do when you renovate, if you are a flipper and whatnot, you're not going to convince me that you never stepped foot in that house.
Okay.
Sorry for yelling.
No, it's okay. It's very emotional, this disclosure.
Well,
yeah, lawsuits. But actually, there's something that he stressed that I have always relegated to the last minute, honestly. And I never really think much about it. I just want the confirmation, because that's what's required in the file, is the confirmation of the booklets. Requiring the actual signatures for the confirmation that you've given the booklets, you've got to give the booklets. What Gov Hutchinson said, there's 4 booklets that you must give every buyer in the transaction.
It's the environmental hazards booklet, the one that talks about lead-based paint, and the one that talks about mold, another one that talks about house
Energy conservation. And for our file, the only thing that we have is the confirmation that you gave these booklets.
Yeah.
But remember, when you go to court, what they ask is, the confirmation sign doesn't mean anything. It's, did you give the actual booklets? If the client says no, what good is the confirmation? So we used to have these booklets free, supplied by lots of services, but now you got to go to EPUB.
And there you'll find not only the booklets, but the signature pages
Yeah,
as well.
right. You can email out those multi-page booklets to your client and make sure that they've got it in there.
There's some NHD, Natural Hazard Disclosure companies, that will provide the booklets as well. So I recommend using them, because then that's the one less thing you have to worry about.
Did you know that granny flats are legal now? Some cities had outlawed having a mother-in-law house. They're legal statewide now. So just check with local jurisdiction in any cities, but California legalized granny flats. Also, if you're a broker and you are affiliated and your address is URE, you're affiliated with URE, you are now under URE's broker. You're not under yourself.
Yeah, before brokers just were brokers. If you look them up in the CalBRE,
Yeah.
it would just say broker. Now you have one broker, and then you have broker associate.
It used to be what we used to just put on the
Yeah.
flight. Now it's legally required, because that's
Yeah.
legally what you are.
All brokers must report every broker that's working under
Right.
their broker's license. Before
Right.
that wasn't the case.
Broker-owned escrows are affecting FERPTA.
Stay away from those broker-owned escrows.
Why? Why? Because it's not legal for a broker-owned escrow to give out a QS. What is a QS?
Qualified substitute form for the
FERPTA.
FERPTA.
Right. Only a title company can do it, or an escrow under the Department of Corporations can do it.
There's a form that is actually in zip forms. That is the FERPTA. The AS, the Seller's Affidavit of Non-Foreign Status. They added a little section with a checkbox where you could say, we're not going to give you our personal info, but we do have a QS, a qualified substitute, whether it be an escrow, which should be an escrow. And the reason why you don't want to touch that is it's just tax and stuff. You want to
Right.
make sure that escrow and title do their thing. And
That's a good reason to ask for an independent escrow
Yes.
that you both mutually agree upon.